yours, from disappointment to low self-esteem, to low self-worth, to self-doubt, to self-sabotage. All of us have been delivered from something. And beloved, let me pause and help you understand. Not only have all of us been delivered from something, we are all being delivered from something. I don't care how well you live and how nice you are. Right now, there are some things and areas in your life where God is working with you to develop you, to bring you to the place of maturity that he desires you to be. And so what do you mean when you say that, Trailer? We ought to quit looking down our nose at other people who are in transition and who are in process, because, beloved, you just came out of the process. You are in a process, and when that process is over, you're going into another process. When God stops you from cussing, he'll work on your drinking. When he stops you from drinking, he'll keep you from being mean and nasty. When he gets that taken care of, he'll stop you from having such a vile and vulgar attitude, because we are all in transition. God is constantly delivering us, and the idea of delivering us is that he is rescuing us. Do you understand that grief is a pit that you have to be rescued from? That depression is a pit that you have to be rescued from. And when God rescues you, you ought to have a song. That's why the sermon title is The Song of a Rescued Saint. Listen, beloved, the reason I sing and shout the way I do, it ain't because everything is all good, but it's because I realize what I've come out of. I realize what I've lived through. I realize what I've been through. And the reality is God has kept me. I've been through enough stuff to where I ought to lost my mind, but I still got a good mind. I've been through enough stuff to where I ought to be somewhere in a padded room doing the jailhouse rock, but God has kept me. And every time I wanted to throw in the towel, he threw it back and said, wipe your face and keep on fighting. Is there anybody here that says, I shout because I've been rescued, I sing because I've been delivered, I am here because God kept me? The enemy had a plan, but the Lord kept me. I had a plan to destroy myself, but God kept me in spite of my own plan, and that's why I got the song of a rescued saint. See, it's one thing when you can celebrate God delivering you from other things and other people, but you get a whole other level of praise when you understand God had to deliver me from me, the things I did to myself, the traps I set for myself, the wrong decisions I made myself. The same God that delivered me from their hands delivered me from my hands, and that's why I got a song to sing. Listen, beloved. If you're saved, you got ample reason to sing. If you're saved, you got ample reason to shout. And so, as I tickle through the text, let me look at verse 17. The first thing we see in the text is that Hezekiah had a tragic condition. What do you mean? Hezekiah, he takes us into his sick room, and he describes his approaching death. Now, I have been preaching this gospel for over 30 years. I've been pastoring the Lord's people now for just about 23 of those 30 years. And one of the things that I dislike the most about my work is having to go into a room and stand with people who are watching their loved ones transition from time to eternity. I have never felt so helpless. I've never felt so. Most of you who know me, especially my children, they used to call me Superman. They said, if there's anything that can be done, my daddy can do it. If there's anything that needs to be figured out, my daddy can. But at bedsides when death is imminent, I feel helpless because there's nothing I can do. There's no way I can change it. And that's where Hezekiah invites us. He's sick and it's already declared that he's going to die. Could you imagine being in a space where you know death is imminent? There's no escape. You're supposed to die. But then God shows up. Is there anybody who's had a moment where God just showed up? They wrote you off, but God showed up. They said you weren't going to make it, but God showed up. They said you weren't going to accomplish it, but God showed up. I don't know about you, but the reason I holler the way I do is because I've had a whole bunch of God showed up moments. I had situations that I didn't think were going to work out, but God showed up. I had situations that I had given up on, but then God showed up. And can I submit and suggest to you, when God shows up, he doesn't ask permission to come in. He doesn't come in quietly. He kicks in doors, he knocks over tables, and he does what he desires to do because the confining circumstances of your condition. He is not confined by time. Time is confined in him. I don't care if they gave you 2 hours. He can show up at 1 hour and 58 minutes and change the circumstance. I don't care if they said